What's up, guys? Matthew Campoli here, host of Price to Sell podcast. Want to give a big shout out to all of you for tuning in and consistently supporting. Please, if you can, to help us, it'd be great if you can leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or whatever platform you're listening on. If you could share the episodes with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you can there, it would help us as well. But on today's episode, we had two returning guests. We had Dorian Rodriguez and Mario Armani. Both super good friends of mine, amazing individuals, operate at a very high level in real estate. And with them, we just got into a nice general conversation about what they do daily to succeed. You know, you have two guys who are consistent and making moves. So what do their habits look like? We get into what their exit strategies look like because, as we all know, as a realtor, we don't really got one unless you plan for it. So some really good conversation, I think, for anyone out there that's maybe has some gaps in their career or not really sure about where they're headed. I think there's a lot of information here that you guys will find value in. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoy the show with Dorian and Mario. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today we got another great discussion set up for you guys. Two returning guests, two of my favorites. No offense to everyone else. I love you all.
I bet you say that to everybody.
I do. I say it to everyone. I had to say it again. So I hope you guys do feel special. But we have Mr. Dorian Rodriguez in the building and Mario Armani. Thank you for coming again.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Of course. I think this kind of stemmed from Mario did a Instagram live session once. He had me on, had you on. Big advocate for mental health, which I think is super important.
Yeah.
And then just gave me an idea. I want to get all of us on. We just sit on the couch and share and have a chat.
I love it.
Two high level, top performing guys in the industry.
Am I getting credit for these ideas then?
You are.
Okay, great.
Mario's getting credit for this idea. We're going to have a whole copyright thing after. But yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, big guy.
Appreciate it. Dorian, how you feeling?
Not so hot today.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so hot. Hot sauce really got me last night.
I was going to say, do you care to elaborate?
Let's just say the stomach's on fire, like to say the
It's
least.
because you're on fire.
No, it's my stomach right now. But I'm here.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Just played a good round of golf this morning.
I did, yes.
So I want to get into, and Dorian gave me a good idea earlier, but just how you guys, like you're both killing it. Okay, for those who haven't listened, quick background. Who are you, Dorian?
I'm one of the partners at PSR. Opened up my office in Kleinburg. I specialize in Forest Hill, more central Toronto, where I have me and my team. Essentially, we do roughly 120 to 140 million a year between myself and my partner. We just hired on another few more agents, so that should be expanding. But I've been in it for about 7 years, going on 8 in January, and loving every minute of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
How about you, Mario?
Kind of hard to beat that, eh?
Yeah. You can do it. You can do it.
I'm going to keep it short and simple. Been a realtor 19 years, opened up my own brokerage about 4.5 years ago, and now I'm here with you.
And you're here with me,
I'm here with you.
Armani Realty.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to that, one of the best names in the game.
Thank you, sir.
I say it all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's good to have, thank you guys for coming. This is essentially like a mastermind on camera, on the mics, two high-level performers. We're just going to be shooting the shit, but I think people are going to gain just a lot of value from this kind of a high-level discussion that we're going to have today.
Yep.
And a lot of takeaways. Let's start off with how you guys set up your day.
I mean, for me, I like to structure it where, I work out in the morning because I find if I start working out at night or in the evening, I get tired, too many phone calls coming in, you get really distracted. So I start off obviously by working out, then I start getting into the office hours. The office hours tend to be from, let's call it 7:38 to probably 2-3 in the afternoon. And then at that point, you either have appointments, listing appointments, conference calls, or whatever else you like to do. So for example, if I'm not doing any showings that evening, I'll go golfing. And that's a way for me to I wouldn't like pretty much lead generate, but also network with the people that I do know. And in those office hours, I really, really enjoy focusing on follow-ups, working my CRM, fine-tuning my systems, preparing marketing for weeks ahead, preparing marketing that we have, and just making sure the team is all on the same page. So I spend a lot of time ensuring that the team is running as smooth as possible so we can produce as much as possible.
And the team thing's new to you, right?
It is. I mean, me and my partner have been working together for probably 5 years now. But more recently, we started the team. We have 2 great agents that help us quite a bit. And right now, we're kind of just trying to expand and continue growing.
Nice. So you're liking the team structure so far?
I do. It's very different than just being myself and my partner. But I have to say, it's nice knowing that you have people that can help you and people that are bringing new business and new ideas that you wouldn't normally think about.
Yeah. That's awesome. And Mario?
It's so interesting
From
to
a
hear
broker
another
of record.
realtor does the same thing that you do, but they do it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't work out in the morning because I can't work out at like 5, 6 in the morning. I just can't do it. I've done it twice before. I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
And then even if I were to start working out, like let's say a little bit later at around 8 or 9, I actually get tired after a workout. You feel energized for like maybe half an hour to an hour, but I completely crash after and I actually start feeling lazy. I also like to start my day kind of working. So I'll go ahead, spend a little bit of time with my kids in the morning just because I don't know sometimes when my day's going to end. Like this week, it's a Thursday today. 3 of the days I worked till like midnight. So I didn't get to see my kids in the evening. So that morning, it's kind of like, okay, I spend an hour with them, an hour and a half. If I get the chance to walk them to school, I'll walk them to school. And then I start my day. So religiously every day, 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, I'm in front of my computer and I start tackling my emails. So for me, part of what helps me kind of keep on schedule is my calendar. Everything I do is on my Google Calendar.
Yeah, same.
It's connected with my wife. This way she knows when my appointments are because
That's clutch.
it's very clutch because I had the bad thing of not telling her when I had things to do. So I literally connected her this way. I don't have to think about telling her. She looks at my calendar and she knows when I'm doing what. And this way there's no
That saves a lot of issues, eh?
lot of headaches. A lot of headaches.
And time.
Yes.
And time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm early bird with the gym. If I don't get it in, I stress out.
Yes.
And I kind of kill my own day. It sucks. It's probably like not the healthiest mentality. But if I don't get my morning routine in, I'm like just the overachiever in me. But I start to stress out, you know?
It throws you off mentally, which is interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
you would figure working out in the morning, you'd get tired. It kind of, I wouldn't want to say slow down your day, but you know, you feel like you're a little more lethargic. But I find like you just said, if you don't go to the gym in the morning, at least for myself, I have a hard time structuring because then, you know, you tend to sleep in a little longer or you tend to mess around a little bit in the morning. But when you're at the gym and you come home, there's nothing else but to do but go to work.
Yeah.
Like that's really all we have to focus on it as business owners. Because as much as we're realtors, I think all 3 of us kind of think about this business as we're the CEOs of our company.
You have to think of it that way.
Exactly. Because you find, you know, there are many individuals and realtors that, you know, they're extremely successful, but they have no structure to their day, right? And that is great in the short term, but long term, when you're looking to retire and have a team, it's very challenging to maintain it.
Yeah.
It's just hard to scale that way. Like you need to have a consistency, and I strongly believe that action creates reaction. So when you just kind of are winging it every day and you just don't know what you're doing, things just don't materialize, right? So when you kind of have that structure, that plan, like for me, I have like severe ADHD. So I need to I have like a million things going on in my head. Even the night before, like I can't sleep. Like in the morning, I want to wake up and I just want to tackle the day. Like that's why it's even a struggle to start going to the gym. Cause it's like, I can't be going to the gym in the morning. All I'm gonna be thinking about is everything I have to do for work. So it's like I gotta get right into work. It's just what I've been. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we do the same thing, but we do it completely different, right?
Yeah.
We're all wired differently, right? Like when I go to the gym, my only thought is let's maximize this gym session. Like I tell people, and this is probably the wrong way to speak about the gym, but I treat it like it's a business, it's a job. I go there with a purpose. I know what I want to hit. Once I hit that, I say, you know what? Let's get back to the office, to my actual career. And I think there's a difference between just showing up to the gym and going to the gym with a purpose. Like I'm not there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm there for an hour. And in that hour, I accomplish exactly what I need to. And then I could start focusing on providing the best experience possible.
So when you text me, because you noticed me on the treadmill
Yes.
from your Stairmaster, that's
Yes.
part of your business plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Follow up, baby.
It's true.
So you guys go to the same gym?
Yeah. He scopes me out. I'll just get a text. Hey, I see you. And I'm like,
Does Matt actually work out though?
I gotta tell you, you've seen those arms. The guy works out. He throws a couple of weights around.
I do. Hello there, my fellow real estate enthusiasts. Today's episode is brought to you by the one and only Warrior Law, the law firm that's the best in the biz when it comes to closing deals. These guys are not your grandmother's law firm. They complete same-day status certificates and purchase agreement reviews so you can put in your offers without a care in the world. Plus, they're digital, so you can have virtual closings across Ontario. Talk about fancy. And get this, they're available 7 days a week. That's right, no rest for the wicked. They even speak over 8 languages, so there's no excuse for any lost in translation drama. Warrior Law works hand in hand with real estate agents and mortgage brokers, so you know they're the real deal. They'll make sure your transactions are smooth and work around the schedule to get those closing docs when you need them. So, if you're looking for a law firm that's not only exceptional, but also makes closing deals look like a piece of cake, Warrior Law is your go-to. Check out the description in the episode to learn more.
I love the fact that we're touching on the gym because, again, I don't know how it is for you guys, but the gym has been one of the things that has helped me succeed in my career.
100%.
Just because the gym, people think that, I shouldn't say everybody, but in general, a lot of the times people think that, oh, you go to the gym, you're like a muscle head or a meathead. But the intelligence and like the determination that you have to have when going to the gym, and it's not just when you get to the gym, it's actually getting there, because there's those days where you just don't feel like doing it. You have to push yourself. When you actually get there, you have to push yourself through the workout. And then it's not just the gym, it's the eating, the sleeping, it's just the combination of everything, right? So I think that once I started getting the gym dialed in, it helped me tremendously in my business because it gave me that same work ethic and structure in my job.
Yeah.
So it's been a game changer for me.
I agree.
Well, a lot of successful people out there, they'll have a lot of the same habits. Doesn't matter what time, but like they are getting the gym in. They have some sort of a routine or like a self-development portion, always learning. A lot of people carry the same traits and habits,
100%.
and it's pretty much across the board. Like you don't have to know anyone. You see someone, okay, that person's operating at a high level. You ask them, what do you do on a daily basis? It's probably similar things to what you're doing.
I couldn't agree more. You can even Google it. Like when I first started in the industry, because there weren't podcasts like this that, have agents that come on and explain their daily routine. Like I was Googling, like, what does the top CEO of a Fortune 500 company do? What does his workout routine look like? What does his daily routine look like? Right. So I took a lot of inspiration from that, or else, as realtors, you could essentially wake up when you want, do what you want. And at the end of the day, like, yes, your results are going to show based on what you do in the day, but we have no one holding, a gun to our head metaphorically to come in and go to work.
Yeah.
Right. So I think having the ability to have podcasts like this, like the ones that you do, I think it makes a big difference.
At what point in your careers did you realize, holy shit, like it's up to me, or no, like no one's holding my hand? Like
in my case, a long time ago, the best, like I saw a picture like years ago. It was a dog crossing the street by himself, and he had his own leash in his own mouth, and it said, "This is what it's like being an entrepreneur." And I couldn't agree more. Like you're on your own. You're figuring it out. Like Dorian said, in the morning you can decide to sleep in. You're the one who's calling the shots. So it just boggles my mind how many people just don't realize it, who work for themselves, don't understand the consequences of not doing things. Like again, everything is cyclical, right? So the work that you put in today is going to be the work that you're going to get in 6 months or a year, right? And in real estate, that's what it is. You're planting seeds, right? And anybody who gardens knows plants don't grow overnight, right?
Yeah,
so it's just, you just have to keep that consistency, right?
Yeah, I think for me, it was probably, I would almost say within 2-3 months of getting into the industry, where you realize that like no one's holding your hand.
Man, I remember when I wasn't in the business yet. You were out there door knocking and posting about it.
Oh yeah, like
daily.
100%.
You're doing like probably the most uncomfortable thing at that time, where it wasn't even like regular yet.
No, you know what? I'm very fortunate. When I first got into the industry, I had a mentor, and his big thing was door knocking and cold calling, which I'm not the greatest cold caller, but door knocking was effective, as well as even sending out mailers, right?
Yeah.
I hated it. I don't love it. And to be honest with you, today I'll do it based on targeted homes, on what my clients want to buy. But other than that, I don't enjoy it. But when you first start out, it's either you do that or you sit at home and have no business.
Yeah.
And I opted to show everyone the hard work being put out there, because I think it helps educate, not only, it keeps me accountable, but it educates the people around you. And I think that was the value I was trying to add at that time.
Yeah. And where do you think realtors today, like 2023, where they're failing the most? Because we have what, close to 100,000 in Ontario right now, right? But you see the numbers, and they're pretty ridiculous in terms of how many are actually producing or even doing deals. You know, so it's like where do realtors fail?
I'm this is going to be very controversial, I think, but
We like controversial.
I think social media. I think too many people are focused on social media. Like, I have to tell you, the amount of realtors that post a picture of their inbox or of the MLS on their stories, got to tell you, that doesn't get you business.
MLS in what way?
Like, they take a picture of the screen of the MLS.
Was showing that they co-op.
Yeah, like they did a deal.
I've been seeing that lately.
That's lovely. Like, I love that for you guys.
Yeah,
but that's not going to get you business, right? I think people are so focused on doing other people's home tours. They're focused on going through houses, showing this, showing that. But that's not the core of our business. Like, that's the core. That may be helpful now in this day and age, but in 20 years from now, do you really think that's going to be, like, do you think Instagram's going to be around? I don't know. My gut tells me probably not, right? So the core business.
How many years from now?
In 20.
Shit.
Like, maybe, but maybe.
I gotta adapt right now.
No, but like, but honestly, like, if you really think about it, like, people are so focused on all of these virtual tours and all of these, like, guys, they're all the same content.
Yeah.
As a consumer, if I'm looking at all these agents, which one do you pick? The one that has the nicest shoes? Like, I don't know.
So it's interesting. I'll let me try on that right now, actually, because you're so right. I mean, I think it's just the way the needle moves, right? Like, you have beginning in our industry, you were early on video, right? You had the early movers, and then it works. Then the people see it works, and now they're all jumping in. And then you have the early movers who are now adapting to something new, right? So I think it's people just got to wrap their head around, stop trying to do what's already big, because it's saturated.
Yeah.
If you're just jumping in a game that's like, you know, the pool's full of fish, like, how are you going to stand out? So it's like, I think people just need to start thinking, okay, this is what's working. How can I make this my own? How can I create something new out of this that's newer and it will make me stand out? Because, people just get lost in the sauce.
Well, they get lost because, like, I look at social media as an online business card. When someone meets me in person, I want them to say, oh, you're the same person you are on social media. That's amazing. We have the same interests. We have the same likes. Like, this is great. But I find when everyone's doing the same things, even as a realtor looking at this, it's very hard to say, like, okay, like, is this their listing? Is it not? Like, why did they show this but not this? Like, you start questioning more. But I find if you're, like you just said, you're one of the first to do something, then it makes a huge difference, right? So for myself, how I look at Instagram and how I use my Instagram as a realtor is I just put my likes and interests. Yes, I'll do the just listed, just sold, of course, but I won't saturate it. And I'll do the initial, intro to the listing with a video. That's great. But you'll hardly see on my stories me walking through a house filming it, because it's just not my style. And I feel like everyone could see that.
Yeah.
Right? Where, if I go on there and
That's funny because you have some of the nice stuff to showcase.
Yes, but I think why people appreciate me is I really focus on privacy and exclusivity. Right? If you're a client of mine, I'm not telling people you're a client of mine.
Yeah.
If I have a big listing, yes, I'm going to blast it out to the right eyes, because we all know, like, I have, I think, almost 12,000 followers on Instagram. Let's call a spade. We probably have 2,000 qualified people of buying homes. And now out of the 2,000 to buy $7 million, I'm probably at 400, 300. Right? So I'm very selective with what gets put out there.
Yeah, niched. I like it.
Try to be. Yeah.
I think it's just important for you to do what you like. So to talk about what you were saying is that a lot of people, they're doing things because other people are doing them, but you just have to do what makes you happy. So if it makes you happy doing a property tour, do it. If it doesn't make you happy, then don't do it. And I think there's a lot of agents that just want to go with the trend.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's kind of like, it's great in some ways, because a lot of like for example, you mentioned that I was early on in video, and my biggest mistake was I started doing a lot of new things. And then when everybody else started doing it, instead of kind of continuing to do it and then developing new things and kind of leaving those things behind, I just stopped doing it because I didn't want to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. That was kind of a mistake that I made. And slowly I've been changing that. So some of the things that, you know what I mean? Like as I develop new things, like you're kind of starting to do those things where, like, for example, reels. I was saying to my marketing guy just yesterday, and I'm like, I don't want to do these reels anymore. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because I don't want to do a reel that looks exactly the same as everybody else's reel. Yeah. So I just rather not do it because it's just going to get lost. I go, I don't enjoy it. He's like, so you're not going to do it? I said, no. And I didn't do it.
But what you do that I find extremely engaging is, when you go on the MLS and you show issues that are on the listing, like as even just a consumer watching your content, I can appreciate that because it shows like half the stuff I would never notice, but your attention to detail. And I think that'll translate extremely well with your clients because it's so blunt and honest, but you're not saying, reach out to me, I'm better than you. You're just saying, hey guys, just be careful, be
Coach
diligent.
Dorian.
Well, it's true though, no?
No, it's a great point, and I appreciate it because sometimes we don't see some of the things that, let's say, somebody else may appreciate, right? But this is coming from somebody in the industry. They're telling you, hey, what you're doing is really, really cool. So it's great to hear that, right?
And can I play devil's advocate with you?
Yes.
I think you should still make your reels.
Really?
Yeah, because you're Mario, man.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's still
like you're
different.
Not, like it is saturated, but you're
Yes.
still you, and you bring a ton of value, and people
Yes.
know you, and people I think would just love to see that content from you. Because, let's not joke around here. There's a lot of BS out there.
Yeah.
Some people come out and are like, "What the hell is this person
You can
talking
say bullshit.
about?"
You know that you're the owner
I'm
of
the
the
host?
podcast.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
you're the host. Yes.
Shit, I forgot. Bullshit. There we go. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, man. I think there's differences, right?
Yes.
Like you have that high caliber already. You have the knowledge. You have all that stuff that you're already standing out amongst the rest. So you already just like cut out probably like 90% of that saturation to now put yourself in that top 10. You know?
When I say I'm not going to do the reels, it's just like, let's say for those specific properties, right? So I just want to make them a little bit different. So I do enjoy like doing those educational reels, or something that for me, I love because people get a lot of value out of it, right? So I don't want to do things that just don't make me happy anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Like this year was kind of a year for me where I said, I'm going to take a little bit of a step back in business, and I'm still going to work because I have to work. And I've been doing this for such a long time and I love what I do, but I also want to focus on making myself happy, not just making money. Right. So I think that's where the change has been for me this year.
I'm gonna jump on this now.
Yes.
I like this topic. I've been thinking about this for the past couple of years myself, but like, do you guys have a exit strategy? Do you have an idea of what it looks like not being always like selling? Like what that future looks like when we're older? Like you got the family, you got the kids. I'm not there. This guy's not there. We're each other's children.
Yeah.
But have you thought about like what that future looks like, that exit strategy?
Yeah, honestly, I have. The truth is I don't think I'll ever stop working. It's just not, like my dad works, my mom works. It's just not the culture that I'm used to. Now, will I be in Florida for 5-6 months a year? You better believe I will be.
I'll join you.
Yeah, like we'll be in Florida. But at that point in my career, I may be 55, 60, where, I get to the point where I can take off for 5-6 months and not worry. But I'll have a good structure and a good team here that can help. And then if I need to come in, it's a quick flight over, right? So I don't ever want to say I'm going to fully retire, because the reality is no matter how much money you have in the bank, I just love doing this.
I'm the same, and I don't say exit strategy as in retire. I mean exit strategy as in like buying your time back. It's like leveraging more. Because right now we're boots on the ground, we're doing our thing. You're creating your exit strategy by building this team.
More team.
Yeah.
Just a bigger team, right? And I'm not saying go hire 75 agents.
74.
They're 70, exactly. No, but if you have a team of, let's say 10 sales representatives, two assistants, and maybe like I have a marketing team as well. If you have that in place, maybe even a director of operations, I think you can run a very lucrative business of, $500 million a year to $700 million a year. And I don't think that would be overly complicated with you not being there if you have a good structure.
Yeah. It's big numbers, man.
Well, listen,
Go big or go home.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't want to be normal, right?
Like, can I join your team?
Yeah, I would love to have you. I think you'd be great.
Give him a good split.
No problem.
Yeah, please.
No problem.
You know,
50-50.
a very, very successful gentleman that I know, he said to me, and something that I never forgot, and he said, life's too short to be mediocre. And I always think about that. And he's 100% right. It's like you can just do anything, but it's like, why not be the best at what you do? Or at least try.
Or why do it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I think me and you had this conversation multiple times, and even we did it as well when we go on our nice tea dates.
Yeah.
Why aren't I invited to these tea dates?
You are now.
They're exclusive. No, they're exclusive. Hold on. They're
Really?
exclusive. I'm kidding. You can come. No, but the truth is if you're going to do something, do it 100% or just don't do it at all. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
Right? So no matter what, just put everything
Guys,
you have in it.
I love this topic because all the agents that are listening to us, you need to understand that you need to, at some point, stop being a salesperson. And you need to think of yourself like a business. And I'll never forget, I asked a gentleman that I know who's a realtor, does well, does about $300,000 a year in commissions. And I said to him, I'm like, are you a business or are you a salesperson? He's like, well, what do you mean? He goes, of course I own my own business. I said, okay, no problem. I said, he's Italian. I go, you go to Italy for a month. I'm like, are you making money? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you make money when you're in Italy? If you go to Italy for a month, are you making money? He's like, no. And I said, that's what I'm trying to talk about.
Yes.
I said, you are a salesperson. You're only as good as your last sale. You did $1 million in commissions last year. This year, you did nothing. You made nothing. And that's what a lot of realtors don't realize, is that they have to get to that point of where Dorian's saying, where you need to set things up where you can actually go from being a salesperson to running a business where you can just kind of, I'm not saying stop selling, but kind of operate it as a business where you can just kind of step out and your business keeps running, right?
And sell what you want.
Yes.
I know this is a topic we've discussed.
Yes.
Anyone could sell anything.
Yes.
Right? I think when you get to a point in your career where you can, I wouldn't say pick and choose, but where you can focus in on, I think that makes a huge difference. So, you know, being niche and being specialized and having a team that can help you do everything else will allow you to be in Italy for a month and focus in on that. But like you said, it's always about being a business at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. It's important.
I wish I would have learned that many, many years. Like if I could have learned that right at the beginning, I'm 100% sure that I would have structured things in a completely different way. When I got into the business, there was no social media. Internet was just kind of starting out. You know what I mean? It was just so different. It was so different.
Do you find, I'm curious with you, Matt, do you find that ever since you started your team, because now your team is quite big, right? It's a solid, well-oiled machine, that you've been able to free up some more time to focus on the business you enjoy, or is it more of the management you're focusing on right now?
It's definitely more work for sure.
Yeah.
Right. But I think and I'm trial and error right now too with the systems and everything and seeing what works, what doesn't. So I'm still going through those motions, but I've experienced the leverage. I've experienced the buyers taking leads and doing the deals, which I never experienced before, being a solo agent. So that's cool, like getting leveraged income, which is something we can all strive for, right? So yeah, I think if done properly, and a lot of people who hate on teams and shit on teams, but there's some really good teams out there.
Yeah.
And it's either, you know, whether you're like a skinny team or like a massive team, it just comes down to your foundation, your systems, and the support, right?
What's your biggest struggle right now? Like now that you've had the team, like you said, it's still trial and error, but what would you say if you had to pinpoint one thing? It's the biggest thing that kind of like your shortfall right now.
Well, I mean, a lot of new agents that'll come on, and I'm not growing it anymore beyond this until like it's built for more. But it's like, where are the leads? Where are the leads? And you have, you know, agents come on and they're struggling, right? And I can only give so much out of my own pocket, and if I try my best to make sure they're doing the work, right? But my biggest pain point right now is building out that solid foundation that's just on autopilot, where that lead flow is coming in, that business is coming in. Because right now, a lot of it's organic from me, but I don't want to rely on just me.
Sure.
I'm just trying to build out that. I'm trying to figure out what that system is still. Is it like online lead gen? Is it farming an area? Right? So that's kind of where I'm at.
I'd like to actually point out that as a new agent, joining a team has nothing to do with getting leads. I feel like everyone joins.
Big fact.
Yeah, everyone joins a team thinking, hey, I'm going to get a bunch of leads. The reality is, if you want to start your career and build a real fast career quicker than the average representative by themselves. You join a team for the mentorship, for understanding the systems, how to write that offer, how to get out of complicated situations where you can't bridge the gap between the buyer and the seller. These are things you learn. Leads are great. Like, you want leads, no problem. I'll go throw up a Google ad. I'll get you 5 leads tomorrow morning. But getting them and closing them are two different stories. They're different, right? So as anyone looking to join a team, don't join a team because they're going to promise you leads. Because at the end of the day, those leads probably convert at a 1 to 2%
100%.
ratio,
100%.
which, by the way, you have to get 100 leads to close 1 or 2. You join for the exposure, the experience, like, for example, I sit down with one of my team members. I helped him do a multiple offer the other day. And guess what? We sold it. He learned. And you think he'll need me the next time? He will not. So that's why you join a team, not just because of the online leads.
You know what I find interesting, guys? And again, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but this is now the second time I'm running a team. And I find that a lot of realtors, they're really focused on how much you're taking from them. So it's like, they'll go to university, they'll pay $14,000, $15,000 a year to go to school and put in all that time, effort, etc. But they'll join your team. You don't get anything unless they sell anything. So if they sell nothing, you can give them customer service for an entire year. You made nothing, and they're kind of looking at how much money you're making off of them. But in reality, your success is based on their success, right? Yeah. So it's just, again, I totally agree with Dorian. The majority of people, they join teams because they're kind of struggling. But at the same time, like, I'm going to answer my own question now that I asked you. My biggest struggle is people not being consistent, because you're like, hey, listen, these are the things that you need to do to be successful. And they're like, okay. They just don't do them. Yeah. Or they may do them for a week or 2 weeks, and then they'll kind of like, and then you kind of say, hey, why aren't you doing this?
You get busy.
Yeah.
You know, the old, I'm busy, things are going on. I get it.
And who gets the blame?
Exactly. You, as a team lead, you carry most of that responsibility.
For sure.
And sometimes, you do take it, I wouldn't say personally, but you do want the people around you to succeed.
Absolutely.
Or else, why have a team? If your team's not succeeding, you're the only one succeeding, it's not fun. Yeah. It's fun when everyone's eating, everyone's having an amazing time.
100%. It's cultural. Like, even me, like, I'm with the XP now, and, there's multiple layers to that, but people will interview me and say, Matt, I want to join your team. Like, well, I'm not hiring for my personal small team, but I know, then they'll be like, okay, if I join you, am I going to get leads? To me, right away, I'm like, I'm not even interested.
Of course.
But I say no. I'm like, no, you won't, but you'll get mentorship. You happy with that, or do you want leads? If you want leads, go somewhere else. No offense, but we're like, if you come in with us, there's amazing culture. You're going to learn. You're going to be surrounded by people performing at the highest level. If you want to eat off of that or absorb that, it's all yours. If not, the leads they're not going to be given up.
The first agent when I started my brokerage, he reached out to me maybe 3 or 4 months after I opened it, and he wanted to come work with me. And I told him, I said, I'm not ready because I would be doing a disservice to you if you came to work with me. I'm just not at that point where I can coach you and kind of make you successful. I said, but when I'm ready, this was, I think, around April. I call him back in October, and I said, listen, if you're still interested, I said, come on board. He came on board, and I told him right from the get-go, say, you're very, very green. Until you are ready, I will not be giving you any leads. So even though if I have them, I won't give them to you, because I feel that you can never give a lead to somebody unless they're actually ready to take it on. Yep. So new realtors need to really focus on not necessarily closing deals. And I get it. We all need to eat. But if you don't understand the business, you can't transact, because the reason why people are going to use you as a realtor is because you're actually giving them value, because you know what you're doing, because you're going to help them with like one of life's biggest decisions. So if you don't know what you're doing, how can I, even though it's a lead, how can I trust to give you that lead? Because at the end of the day, my name is on it. So if you screw up, they're not going to talk just bad about you. They're going to talk bad about me. So how can I, as a team leader, give you a person when I think you're not ready, right?
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, like, I love that idea and it makes total sense to me. I'm just very opposite. Okay. I'm more of it's from my father. So if my dad's watching this is because of you.
Papa Dorian.
So I'm more of like, throw them in the water.
And let them swim.
See if they can swim.
100%.
And if you can't figure it out on your own, no matter how much I teach you, I don't think I can help.
No, but I agree with that. Yeah. I'm just saying that I wouldn't necessarily give somebody the lead like
Yeah,
Again,
like here's a bona fide
yes,
seller. Go
yes.
go close it. I
Yes.
understand completely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
What an awkward pause, huh?
no, there's never awkward pauses. That just gave the audience time to think. Or they all just went through the moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
You know what I mean? But yeah, as we end off, I'm gonna ask you guys. We're
ending off already.
Yeah.
We're just getting
Dean, where
started.
we at?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time does fly
100%.
when we're having fun. I just wanted to get your take on how your business has been for the year. Some predictions, maybe some crucial pivots people need to make, because we are in a more of a declining market where we actually have to hustle and bustle. And I just want to see you guys outlook on how people can do better.
I think by the end of this year, I'll speak about the market and then how to I guess transition moving forward. Right now, what I'm seeing is the ultra high luxury market. Let's call it somewhere from 7 to 15 million, still moving. There's just no inventory. So the inventory that does come to market does sell relatively quick. It's just the problem is the inventory lows are insane. Like there's very little out there. Anything from 3 to 7 million, it's the gap's a little bit harder for what the seller's expectations are to what the buyers want to offer. So what we're trying to do is really mend that gap and find a medium. But once again, low inventories.
But I say there's still little inventory in that bracket.
Yeah, very little.
Yeah, I almost came to yours. But
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
that'd been nice.
Yeah, it's tough. There's very little inventory. But I truly believe that the lower price points will end up remaining flat and maybe a slight increase, just because there's so much immigration coming into our country that they need to live somewhere.
Yeah.
And those are typically the price points that move a little bit quicker. So I see that happening, progressing forward. And as realtors, I think the biggest thing you have to focus on is being able to have these tough conversations with your sellers and your buyers. In my opinion, buyers are not going to go out there and steal properties. It's just that's not the market we're in. That's not the city we're in. And as a seller, you want to be cautious with pricing your house appropriately from the start, because what I'm noticing is if you price it, 15, 20% over what it's actually worth, it's going to sit. And then even if you drop it down to what it's worth, now
Still won't move.
Yeah, it still won't move.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have someone come in 10% less and offer you that, and you won't be pleased. So pricing it appropriately and having that conversation from the start is better than taking a listing that's well overpriced, because then you're sitting on it for 3 to 6 months.
100%, huge, crucial. Mr.
Is it
Armani?
my turn?
Yep.
Okay.
It's your turn.
I do feel it's going to be a complicated time from now to the next couple of years for all realtors. I think all realtors are still kind of riding high from what's happened the last 3 years ago. In my case, I decided to heavily invest in myself in terms of just marketing, just anything to do with, let's say, just expansion. Whereas a lot of realtors now, because they're making less money, they're actually kind of contracting everything, right? So during those tougher times, I think it's when you have to put out more. Going forward, like with the market, I don't really see, unless something really drastic happens with interest rates, even if we have another increase in the next couple of weeks, next month, I don't see like the market dropping. There's still a lot of people that think like the market's going to crash 50%. People have to realize that the Canadian economy relies heavily on our real estate market. And if real estate is down, everything is down across the board. People don't refinance. And that's probably, one of the biggest reasons why we're having inventory issues now, because people have these lower price mortgages, and people are like, well, why would I kind of upgrade or downgrade or just do anything when I have a mortgage at 2%? I don't want to sign a mortgage at 6%.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stay where I am.
Yeah.
Then no inventory goes out, and basically everybody who's buying now, they have to pay that premium. So I agree with what Dorian said, that we're not going to see those drops. You're not going to get those steals. You just have to pay what it is, and that's it. And people have to remember that real estate at the end of the day is a long-term game. If you're kind of banking on, okay, I'm going to buy this now and next year I'm going to sell it, where you may get caught where you're going to lose money. Just, you can't think of real estate that it's going to be exactly the same as it has been the last 10 years, because it's just not, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And as an agent, how are we pivoting right now?
Just do more.
Yeah.
Just do more. Like, it doesn't matter how successful you are. Just get up every day and hustle. Just be consistent. Like, I feel like there's so many realtors that are not taking advantage of the opportunities they have. You work for a brokerage. Okay, you can promote the brokerage listings. Reach out to those realtors. You know what I mean? Like, they're the brokerage's listings. Try to get buyers. There's things that you can do. I just can't believe how many realtors are just sitting at home looking at their screen and like, I don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. There's so much you could do.
You guys sense there's going to be a fall off with the amount of agents out here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. I think I think like a lot of things, real estate over the last 4 or 5 years has been a big trend where, you know, it's the cool thing to do. Like, you're an entrepreneur, you have
Selling
your own
sunset,
hours.
buddy.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
these TV shows make it look so wonderful. But the reality is, like, you know, you'll always have people jumping in because, you know, the barrier to entry is so minimal. But, you know, being in the industry and succeeding at the industry are two different things. And you could pick which one you want to be. You just have to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very controversial now, but I really think that the part-time realtors are the ones that are a big problem. They're a big problem because, and again, I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this. And I was a part-time agent the first couple of years, right? But the problem is that these agents, they don't really have a sense of the market. They don't understand what's going on. So they'll represent a buyer, let's say, and yeah, don't worry, it's a bidding war. Throw in an extra $100,000. Meanwhile, that property is really not worth it, but it sells for that price. And then all of a sudden it sets the benchmark in the area. And this is one of the reasons too, why we have these price increases, right? So in terms of agents and everybody dropping off, there's so many of those agents that are part-time realtors, and they don't mind for a year or two to keep their license because it's not really costing them that much money. If they squeak out one deal a year, it kind of pays for those extra costs, and that's it. But those, let's say they were able to squeak out those extra 2 or 3 deals, that's a deal less for you, a deal less for you, a deal less for me, and it's taking away business from other agents. And that's where I kind of see a little bit of an issue, that I think that there's a lot of people. It's like, imagine doctors out there that really are not, they shouldn't be doctors. They don't have the credentials to be doctors. And I feel that there's a lot of part-time realtors that should not be helping people with multi-million dollar transactions because they don't know what they're doing. Because realistically, when you get your real estate license, you really don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one. It was one of my offer nights. I felt bad for this girl, really bad for her. And I took it personally. I'm a nice guy, but it's not my fault. She had the deal, and I didn't promise it to her yet. But I'm like, okay, if you give me this price, like, it's done. I just need it, like, just get it done, sent to me right now. She's like, okay, I need an hour. I'm like, why? She's like, I got to go drive to their house. You don't have DocuSign? She's like, what's DocuSign? I'm like, come on, 2023? She's like, I'm sorry, I'm part-time, I'm not familiar. Then another guy called me, he's like, hey, I'm improving. He's like, I'll have it to you in 5 minutes. So I called her back. I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm not going to wait for you for an hour when I can have something done, solidified in my client's inbox and accepted in the next 5 minutes, you know? So I gave it to the other guy. But like,
Matt, it's a great point what you're mentioning. And these are the questions that buyers and sellers are not asking realtors when they sit down with them. They just hire realtors based on, oh, I heard about this, or my buddy. Like, you actually have to do your research with who you're hiring. Yeah. And it boggles my mind how many people just don't do that. Yeah. So
it is what it is. But anyways, my friends, you guys have been awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. It was a good chat.
Thank you.
You know, we covered a lot of cool things here. I think a lot of value. Like I said, brought you guys on to high-level operators on the couch with me, shooting the shit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And also, guys, just a little tip: put Osmo's hot sauce on all your food.
Do not do that. Your stomach's gonna be in shambles the next day.
Dorian's gonna go sleep.
Yeah, I'm not feeling so hot.
We did well. Where can the audience find you guys?
I'm on Instagram, Dorian X Rodriguez, and soon enough YouTube, Dorian X Rodriguez. I think. I don't know.
What's the X?
I don't know. It just sounds cool. Sleek,
Touché.
baby.
Yeah, it is sleek. Mario?
ArmaniSells.ca, and on YouTube, Mario Armani Real Estate Team.
And any Armani store, just mention his name.
Yes.
You got a 15% discount code.
Yes, sir. Just don't come to me asking for that.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in as always. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this one. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. And say hi to me once in a while. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.